Hi everyone, in this video we're going to go through video conferencing in Teams. It's one of the more powerful features that Teams has, and they've done a lot of enhancements lately and they continue to do enhancements on it. So we're going to go through some of the more common ways to either start or schedule a video. Alright, one of the first ways to start a video conference is right on a Teams channel itself, and it's right up here on the right. They actually moved it just fairly recently, and this is drop-down box. So what you're going to see is two different options. One is the Meet Now. So what the Meet Now button does is it starts a virtual meeting right away. Everybody who's in that team is going to be invited automatically. They're going to see a little join button up on the top that allows them to join that meeting right away. Okay, we're going to start with the first option, which is when you're right within a team itself. So you're in your team, you're in your channel, and in this top right-hand corner here, there's a button. And when you hit that button down, there's two options. The default one is to Meet Now. So if you hit the Meet Now button, what will happen is a video conference will start. Everybody who's a member of that team can actually join that video conference right away. They'll see a little join button in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so you can see up here there's also a drop-down list that allows you to schedule a meeting. So when you schedule the meeting, there's a couple different things you can do. You can add a title to it. You can have attendees. The attendees can be both internal and external to the company. So when you click them, they'll be added in if they're internal to the company. If they're external, you typically just see the address. You can obviously have optional attendees as well, as you can see. Date, how long you want the meeting to go for by start time and end time. If you want it to be a recurring meeting, you can do that right here. This is telling you that it's going to be, the meeting information is going to be saved right within that channel. You can add the information in tasks. So basically it's a very typical meeting invite that you can do right within Teams itself. Up here is a scheduling assistant. If you click on that scheduling assistant, you'll actually be able to see, for the people in your organization in particular, you'll be able to see their free and busy calendar. So it'll help you find a time that the other people that are in that requested meeting might be available. Okay, so let's go to another option, which is to go in the calendar view. Alright, so in the calendar view, you can see that we just click on calendar, it brings us over. We can go by, we can view the calendar by day, week, month. It'll synchronize into your Outlook calendar, which is great. It'll show you all of the events that are in there. But real easy, what you could do is you just double click and you create a meeting. Now these are all the same fields that we just saw in that last section where you went and created it from a channel. So obviously you can add a channel manually in here. Same scheduling assistant, everything else, you're just doing it within the Teams channel, and again in calendar. And so what you can do is a little easier because you can see your actual other calendar events much like you would in an Outlook calendar. Alright, so speaking of Outlook, let's go into another way to create a Teams meeting, and what I think is probably the easiest one. And that's just within the normal Outlook calendar item. So all I did is I went to Outlook and I created a new meeting. So we're going to create a meeting, and we're going to do instead of location, now what we can do, and again you can invite attendees just like you would any other meeting again. So you can do it just like any other Outlook calendar, but now you have this new button, which is Teams meeting, which is really cool. So all you have to do is just hit that button. That's all it takes. Automatically creates a link right within the meeting that if somebody clicks it, they're going to go right to that Teams meeting, and you can make it recurring so that they don't have to remember each link or anything like that. They just keep clicking on that same team meeting over and over again. Alright, so while we're talking about Outlook and meetings, I'm going to kind of throw in a little bonus content here. So This is a very typical email that happens back and forth. People trying to coordinate a meeting in a schedule, and a lot of times there's multiple people on this email. So the typical thing once somebody has decided on a meeting date is to go into Outlook Calendar, create a new item on that time, then re-invite everybody. I just want to show you a quick little trick here. If you click on this meeting button up here, it actually does all that work for you. So you click on the meeting button. All you have to do is then just select the day and time that you would do for normally when you're creating a meeting. And look, it automatically has everybody in here that was in the meeting. And then of course what you can do is still click on that Teams meeting link to now send that video conference. So just a nice little shortcut that actually keeps the whole chain of the email intact. Everybody knows you can actually create it right from the email itself. So again, just a nice little trick that's within Outlook itself. All right, another way that we're going to be able to create an instant meeting is in the chat. So when you click on the chat feature, you come over here, you may have a whole bunch of different chat sessions going on, and we're going to go into chat in a different video topic. But one of the things that you can do within a chat, and when it's multiple people, is you can actually start a meeting right within the video chat itself. And again, everybody who's in that chat will be called and say, okay, the meeting's coming in, do you want to join? Okay, so another way that you could start a call is actually just typing in the search bar here, where you can just do call, type in the person's name, and it'll start ringing them just like a phone, and it'll pop up right on their Teams that, hey, this person wants to call and get into a video conference on it. So again, that's a quick way to do like a one-on-one meeting. You can also just click on their name as well. From anywhere within Teams, you can click on their name and just click on this button, and again, that'll do the same thing. It'll start a video call right away with them. Alright, so the last thing I want to cover in this video is just within the meetings themselves. So let's go and just create a pretend meeting. And so I want to go through the different buttons that are in here. Most of them are going to be really straightforward. So this is how you turn your video on and off. You're going to click on the microphone to mute yourself. So obviously you find that a lot in meetings with a lot of people or feedback. It's become a little more courteous to actually mute yourself when you're not actually the one talking. You can actually share your screen by clicking on here, and the cool thing when you share your screen is going to give you the different option that you can either share an individual application, or you can share a screen. The cool thing about sharing an application is that when you close that application, it actually automatically closes the sharing section, which is really neat. You can raise your hand, so if you have a lot of people in a meeting, and instead of everybody stepping over each other, you can raise your hand. You can have a conversation, so this is really handy. You can have a little side chat conversation during the meeting itself. Now the cool thing as well is if this meeting is from a chat session or from a previous meeting, when you hit this button, you'll actually see all of the previous chat messages come right up already in here. So all the previous conversations that are going on. And this one actually shows who's in the meeting itself, and it'll show you people dropping in, dropping out, who's invited, who's not invited. And so the last thing that I'll show you in this is the 3 button section. So we have the device settings. So if you have multiple cameras, multiple speakers, so as you can see, I have multiple speaker sets, I have multiple cameras I can use, and I have multiple microphones that I can use. So it shows you the status of all of those at the same time. Next thing that you can do is show meeting notes. You can go into a full screen. You can have background effects. So with the background effect, you've seen many videos with this already. You can obviously start hiding your, if you're in your own home or in somewhere where you want to hide your background. The one thing I will say is that this is not available on all computers. So your computer has to meet certain minimum requirements in order for this background option to even show up. So if you don't see it or it's grayed out, it means your computer does not have the requirements it needs to get into that. Live caption is really cool. It actually does a closed caption, so it automatically does a voice to text transcript in the meeting itself. That's going to be handy if you're in like a loud environment where you cannot have the speakers on or you can't hear very well. it'll actually do a closed caption for you. It's very cool. Keypad, it just brings up a normal number keypad. You can start a recording that is sometimes controlled or disabled by the meeting organizer. Obviously, you can end the meeting or just turn off the video for the people coming in. You'd want to turn off the video if you were in a location that had very slow internet connection and you were having trouble just keeping up. You can actually turn off the video from everybody else in the meeting. That might help speed up your bandwidth. So those are the basic controls or steps that are within the meeting itself. All right, and that is it for the basics of video conferencing. Pretty easy when you look at it. There's just a lot of ways to start a video conferencing, so it can sometimes get a little intimidating. I tend to try and use the either instant chat now, clicking on somebody's name, or just do a Outlook calendar invite. To me, those seem to be the easiest ways to do it. Thank you very much. Have a great day.